Hey, welcome back to Every Note Counts. I'm excited to announce we officially have a sponsor for this video. It's brought to you by clickbait. Clickbait, when your video's content isn't good enough to get followers. I'm definitely gonna have to use that and maybe build some quality content also. Today we're gonna talk about practice routines. Specifically, we're going to look at some of the stuff that I've been interested in practicing and what I want to get better at. And if I only had 30 minutes, how I personally would divide up that time so that I could check all the boxes on my practice routine. I'm about to tell you all the stuff that I'm working on, so I'm curious, what techniques are you working on right now? Do you have a specific breakdown of how you would spend 30 minutes? Please comment below. I'm genuinely curious to know what your practice routine looks like. I'm working on things like speed, fancier licks, having the notes that I hear in my head come out my fingers, instead of doing just random licks that don't fit over a chord or that are completely based on muscle memory. Taking well-known licks and doing my own variations, things like that. But before we get into all of that,
shameless plug.
Please like and subscribe to this channel. And if you're interested in when I release new content, feel free to turn on the notifications by clicking the bell in the bottom corner. Let's not waste any more time. Let's see what a 30-minute practice routine might look like. So when I begin to play, the first thing that I like to do is just play a lick that's simple, that's soulful, that gets me excited about playing guitar for the rest of the practice time. And for me, that's usually practicing a bend. We'll do a bend here on the G string at the 11th fret. We're going to overlay box 1 at the 9th fret. So this is the key of D flat. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my ring finger on the G string at the 11th fret, and I'm going to rake down and mute the first 3 strings, and then I'm going to hit the G string. I'm going to bend it. I'll just do this over and over again as practice. Maybe do a little bit of a micro bend, a bend that would be on the 9th fret of the G string. It wouldn't quite get up to a half step pitch, but just in between those. Things like that, just fun licks that sound good and get you excited about playing. After I get warmed up playing licks that I enjoy, the next thing I do is I start working on speed. So I'm going to take riffs slowly, and this is going to help my fingers both warm up and also help me develop some faster chops. So I'll do something like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the G string on the 11th fret and bend it and then kill the note. Then hit the B string and the E string at the 9th fret. Come back to the B string on the 11th fret. Come back to the B string on the 9th fret. And then pick up the 12th fret of the B string. And just keep practicing that to build up dexterity and speed in the fingers. Another one you can practice doing, and one that I'm working on right now also, is hitting the 12th fret of the B string and then picking up the E string, high E string at the 9th fret, and then the B string at the 9th fret. As I get faster, I'm noticing that I'm muting or choking out the E string and the B string too much. I want those notes to be heard, so I'm working on taking this slower and building up speed as I go. Yeah, you can see I'm starting to lose it there. So that's something I'm currently working on. So the next thing I would work on, after spending about 5 minutes on noodling around and working on speed, is I would take 5 minutes to create variations of licks that I'm working on. So maybe I sit down and I think of something in my head. All right, so I'm going to take that note. I'm going to do maybe some pull-offs. So in my head, I'm kind of humming, thinking, singing, dee-oot, and then maybe a little bend. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Okay, so that would be the 11th fret pulling off to the 9th on the G string. Then a little bit of a bend on the G string. Cut it off, and then hit the 9th fret of the G string. Come down to the 11th fret of the D string. So now I'm going to think of some variations of that. Let's just cut this one short and stay on the bend a little bit longer. Yeah, I like that too. And then another variation would be coming back to the G string on the 9th fret and giving that another micro bend. So a bend that pulls it away from pitch but doesn't get to the next fret. That sounds pretty bluesy. I could bend both the G string and the B string on the 9th fret. Oh, that sounds raunchy. That's good. Let's try some variations of speed lick. All right, so. See, I bent that too much. All right. So take licks or riffs that you hear in your head. And when you start to get bored of playing it, think of different ways to end it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice taking chords that I know in different shapes, practice keeping time, practice syncopation, practice riffs, practice what I hear in my ear or hear in my head coming out through my fingers by switching between playing chords and licks. So we're going to start off, let's start off on the 9th fret of the A string, and we're going to form a C-shaped chord. So 9th fret A string, 8th fret D string, 6th fret G string, 7th fret B string. So we can arpeggiate this. See, I'm making some mistakes because I'm just kind of jumping into this and piddling around. You should make mistakes while you're practicing. This is the time to make them and to kind of straighten out the connection between your hands and your brain. So I'm switching here to a D sharp, and this is a what would be an A minor shaped chord if you were to slide this down all the way to the nut. We're playing it right here. So this is the 6th string on the the 6th fret on the A string, and then the D string and the G string are both on the 8th fret, 7th fret, middle finger on the 7th fret, and then you're using your pointer to bar, so you're going to pick up the E string on the 6th fret. All right, so. Yeah, I like that lick. So again, just swapping around between chords and lead work, what you hear in your head, trying to find where it is on the frets. So, do 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 do. There we go. Building that mind to finger connection. Do you do do? So it's slow going, but it's really going to pay off in the long term for shortening the gap between what I hear in my head and what's going to come out my fingers, and help to improve my ability to navigate around a scale, not based on the shape of the scale, but based on what notes in the scale I'm hearing in my head. And then, just for the sake of time, the last 5 minutes or so of a routine, work on a song that you love. Work on an intro, work on a lick, work on a riff, and then figure out how you would incorporate that into your own playing. What are some variations of someone else's music you can make? This is how the greats all learned. They studied the greats and became great themselves by taking the mastery of someone else and then figuring out how they would put their own flavor to it. Thanks again for watching this video. Please remember to click like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you'd like to know when new videos get released. Until next time, make every note count.